Everyone, welcome back once again to the Bavsound Video Installation Guide Series. We are here today in the all-new 2016 Bavsound M3. This is the F80 M3. I don't know what you guys can see. We'll pan out, we'll talk a little more about it. This was a car we ordered about 6 months ago. It has been a long wait, but everything is here. This is a one-of-one car. It's messing metallic exterior over nutmeg interior with the white ash inlay. As you can see, it is absolute sex on wheels. You'll see it at our dealers. You'll see it all over your favorite Vimmer forum type threads. It'll be in our marketing. It'll be everywhere. So you can come take a listen. You can rock out with it. Maybe JK will take you for a spin. So that's kind of where we're at with this. We're going to be documenting this process both in the video and in the photographic realm as well. So in this particular video, we're going to be doing the stage 1 direct fit speaker upgrade package, which replaces all 11 interior speakers. We have another video, and of course our ghost underseat subwoofers. There's one under each front seat. That's in a separate video. Also, everything is available, of course, on the website. So what we're going to do at this point is kind of get the process started. As usual, bam, our toolkit is going to contain everything you need to do the speaker upgrade. For the ghost underseat woofers, we've got a specific kit coming out for that. In the interim, we'll go over, of course, all of that with you. So without any further ado, let's start this process and in the M3. So as usual, we start on the passenger side. We drop the windows. We start on the passenger front door. I like to work my way around. So I like to go passenger front door, passenger rear door, rear deck, back around. That way, by the time I get to that driver's front door, I've perfected the process, and because that's the door we use most frequently, we want to make sure that we don't break a clip or do anything silly. Not that you would do that anyway. So, nevertheless, let's do this, shall we? So, again, these cars, oddly enough, as beautiful and as well built as they are, there's only 2 screws holding this whole panel on. Believe that or not. So one is back here, one is back here. And so to get to that, in the M3s, these are leather wrapped, they might be carbon wrapped, yours might be wood grain, it might be any number of different materials, but there's a seam here you can see, and that's where we separate the product. So to do that, we grab our blue plastic panel removal tool. Do not use this metal panel removal tool on this door panel, or I will have to come to your house and discipline you because it's disrespectful, number one, and number two, you're going to destroy something. So here's what we were going to do. We're going to take our panel removal tool. We're going to come down here to the bottom. On the leather wrapped ones, it's a little bit harder to get back here because the leather makes it's substantially thicker. But there's a little, you can feel it back here. There's a little dip right here. There's a little divot. And that's where we're going to kind of work our boy, the innuendo here is thick, isn't it? We're going to kind of work our tool into the slot, and then we're going to extract the panel. I'm actually it's funny, I don't usually, this is probably the first one of these I've ever really dealt with that's wrapped in leather. I'm going to try and come around here. I don't know if you guys can kind of see that. Boy, this leather is uber fragile. Woo! This one's making me nervous. And it is tight in there as well. So I'm going to have to resituate myself again. I got to tell you guys, I'm not super comfortable. This leather is tight. You know what? There's a separate slit right here. With the leather, it's easier to start up here. So we're going to get our plastic tool back there. Yep, there's the slot. So once we get up in the little slot there, hear that? That's all the little clips popping. At this point, we want to use our fingers. And I'll show you how these, boy, this one is all kinds of tight. This leather wrapped is, I have done hundreds of these cars. That's actually fine. It's just a little clip that came off. It's actually good you guys see this. So we'll put it right back on. Yeah, right like that. Yeah, like so. So you can kind of see what's going on. So there's a clip here on the bottom that hooks in right there. So ideally what we're doing is we're just pulling off and out. So off and out. But when they wrap this plastic in leather, as you can see, they did a brilliant job. I'd like to meet the guy that did this. That was not easy to wrap. Okay, so with that panel off, you would not have this kind of, if you don't have the leather wrap panel, it's not that tight. Ordinarily, you can just use your fingers and get it off. And that is going to reveal a couple of Torx T20 bolts, which are right up here. This one, actually, those look like they might be 25s, and these are all included in your kit, by the way. Let's see, it looks like it might be a 25. It is a 25, I'll be. 30 years, these have been 20s. And this is the first 16 I've been in. So we just pull these guys out, one up top, one down low. And then, it's scary business, but the panel is ready to just pop off. Cool, so that's it. So, now again, plastic panel removal tool, no metal. It's actually easiest to start up here, removing the panel. So they're just a series of clips around this perimeter. And then we're freeing the panel off and then just disconnecting some stuff from the back. So I like to start up here only because it's a little bit easier. So we just come up here with our panel removal tool right here in this gap. As you can see, you can already move this with your hands. And then get that first one started. And with the first one started, I then use my fingers to work around. And then with the, see how the panel's all loose? Then there's just little female receptacles on the panel, and from there we just pull off like that, lift up, and bam, we're done. So, with the panel basically removed, we now go to getting these harnesses and clips off the backside. This is where we need our metal panel removal tool from our kit. So we just pop off these little plastic clips back here from the door panel. So, and that is it. So be super careful. This is the ambient lighting plug up here. So we want to be very careful with that. So put a little pressure here and then just pull down like that. It's our door handle, lifts up. So you can see now I'm opening and closing the handle. So when we reinstall things, we close the handle, we push like so to get it off. Just lift that up again. And we unplug our light down here just by pulling out like that. And then with our window clip, should kind of reach right up in there. It just pulls right down. Let's see. They do such a good job on the, just pulls down like that, and then we put it back in like that. So with that, the panel is off, which leaves us again, as you can see, with our mid-range here, our tweeter here. And so what we'll be doing, we're gonna pause right here. We're gonna come back, we're gonna apply sound deadening all through here. We're gonna upgrade our tweeter here, install everything, get it rocking and rolling. So let's pause right here, and we're gonna get this, actually just for the interest of time, we're gonna pull up, the rear door panel as well, so we can kind of go over the sound deadening process with you guys on the bench and talk a little bit more about that. So let's pause it here and head back to the rear door. All right, guys, we had a little kind of reassess the situation, so we're going to do this a little differently. We're gonna extract the mid-range driver. We're going to do the sound deadening process on this inner skin, and we're going to do the outer skin. So I've rolled up the window. So kind of in retrospect, just leave the window up when you're taking the door panel off. It doesn't have to come down. That's just old school me thinking out loud. So we want to leave that window up because we want to access that outer skin to deaden that as well. So to get this mid out, it's 3 Torx T20s. Very straightforward. Just as you can see, interesting little driver. I don't understand so I'll show you what we're taking out and then what we're taking in. So here is the factory driver. Here's ours. As you can see, we've got this super thick foam ring to get a nice tight mid-range seal on the mid. Here's the motor structure on ours. Here's the motor structure on the OE driver. As you can see, the ferrite really does add a level of depth to the sound that the neodymium just can't give us. It's a different type of motor structure. So now to get our driver in, we're actually going to pause because we're going to sound deaden. So taking some sound deadening here, a couple different ways we're going to do this. I kind of pre-cut a little piece, so maybe it's about 7 inches by the actual width of the speaker itself. So I brought out my heat gun here, You can use a hair dryer. If you got a heat gun, just gonna be a little faster, but just go get your wife's, actually, you know what, I shouldn't say that. It's because I have no hair, so I don't have a need for a hair dryer, but you might have luxurious mane of locks that needs tending and have a man dryer, for all I know. So get it toasty, get it pliable, and then what we're gonna do is just kind of come up in here, get up all up in the business, and we'll form it here in a moment. So just kind of get it applied loosely. Be careful these edges, it can be sharp because it is aluminum backed. You see here. So I'm just using my thumb at this point. Then I just take my actual screwdriver that we used and I kind of, see I'm working it down like this. Again, you can't have too much. So it's kind of cool, and you can see where that's where the actual speaker is. And so we want this down. You can see it's forming a perfect shape to the door. Very cool. Maybe take the hair dryer a little bit more. Get a little hotter. All this is doing is activating the adhesive, so it's making it super tacky. Don't hold it one place too long. Don't want to melt anything, burn anything. Nice. So it's just real tacky now. And then just kind of do this. If you've got a roller, if you've got like a paint or one of those, some people have like a little roller, you can do that too, but this is fine. That's why you got the tools. Use them. Again, just get it all nice and tacky. Excellent. Bam. Then, taking a razor blade, not cutting your finger off, just cut out the opening for the mid, like so. Remember, as I mentioned, this can be sharp, so do that. And you got this little guy here, I like to do, so we're gonna actually put another piece of sound deadening on this rear wall, on the outer skin here. So we're gonna kind of deaden that up a bit as well. So with this little circle here, you can take it, you can just put it over here. Again, what we're trying to do is control the energy coming from the speaker. So this is doing what we're doing here. It's taking that energy and it's now the panel, it's nice and dead versus, you can hear it's much dunk, 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 much more deadly frequency. And just take this little guy here, right up here. Again, we're just trying to control that. Sound deadening isn't about total coverage, it's about where it's applied. I mean, the more obviously there's a lot of theory here, but after doing this 20 years, this is how you get the best results. So we've got this piece here. We're gonna then take our second piece, which I've gone and conveniently left up on the bench. I'm gonna take this, I'm gonna put it directly behind the speaker. BMW's put a little bit back there on that wall. I just want to carry it up into this area here. So again, we just take our blade. Boy, I took a stupid pill prior to this filming. I'm just kind of cutting it up in little squares here. Again, just kind of heat it up a little bit. A little tacky. It's already tacky out of the box. And then we just kind of get it back in there. Kind of Three Stooges like. And then you just get it on this outer skin. Like so. Bam, and you can feel right about here back. BMW has some sound deadening, but we're just adding a little bit more up here on our side. And then I might cut a couple strips here. Again, don't cut yourself. Never fun to do. I take a little strip here, heat them up, and then I'm going to do this area right up here. Again, we want to control the movement around the speaker itself. We'll cut this guy and we'll cut this guy. I'm just focusing around where the mid-range itself mounts to the car. If you got a hairdryer, it'll take a little bit longer. Maybe while you're doing it, you guys with hair, you can get some new mousse, or I don't know if people still use mousse. Is that a thing? I don't know. Maybe style your hair while you're out working on your car. Could be fun. So let's just take this, kind of come up here. We don't want to interfere with where that upper bolt goes through, so just kind of be a little conscientious of that. And then, again, we could come up in here. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to do this for right now. You just repeat this process on the couple doors. So again, just in this area right around here, we want to control that resonant frequency of the driver. So dun 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 and dun dun dun. So now we've got a nice dead surface. Go ahead and take our screwdriver and find out where those factory holes were, and make a little hole, because we're going to have to start those screws back up when we reinstall them. And then the other one is right somewhere in there. There it is. Boom. Cool. And then there. Nice. All right, so now installing the Bavsound driver. So you'll notice these came in a separate little box. So on the speaker, it originally had this little thin gasket on the front, so we pulled that off. We applied our thicker foam gasket. This now goes on the back of the speaker, like so. And then the little trick here, where we're just pulling off this material right here, because we were going to pull our wires from our speaker up through there, like so. So we do that. And we don't put our plugs on the front of the speaker because we would not be able to do a couple of things. We wouldn't be able to use this ferrite motor structure, and we wouldn't be able to use this inverted surround on this curvilinear cone because physics would prevent it. So rather than mold the plugs into the front of the speaker, which we did, and I just wasn't happy with the sound. It didn't sound how I wanted it to sound. So now those guys, we line this up, kind of get the speaker loosely placed where it once was, from whence it came. And then, again, with our hands, we start the screws with our T20. So to get it snug, do not torque it all the way down at this point. We are just getting the speaker situated in its new house. And then, so again, you see I'm not torquing it down yet. I am just getting it situated. Because we're going to do a couple things. We're going to make sure the gasket is aligned perfectly. And then, once we've done that, go around, we snug, and we snug, we snug, and then we snug. We just kind of look around a couple more times. We're not trying to win a strongman competition here. Bam, like that. So then we pull our wires nice and tight, and we pull them out like so. Actually, most of the time, I actually kind of goofed up here. I usually bring them out over here with this harness. So in fact, why don't we just do that? Why don't we just pull this back? This is called, it's really hot today, and I'm tired, and I should have just shown you this way. So what's really preferable, and it keeps things looking super nice and pretty and clean. You can see this is just a little cover, goes back in behind the door. So this is exactly how BMW routes wires, so I figure we can do it this way too. we're safe. So now look, it's nice and pretty coming out of the same location as the stock wires. And then we can take our sound deadening, put it back down. I'm gonna heat it back up just to get it tacky again. And then bam. Just heating it right back up. Cool. So now we've got our wires here, BMW wires here. So blue to the wire coming from the door, plugs right in perfectly. Now we have to put in our new tweeter. That is a super straightforward process, and let me show you how it's done. So there's no sense in even pausing, we just get right to it. This is held in with a little clip up here. So we just take our plastic panel removal tool, pop it out, fold this back. You can see it's really straightforward. I'm just gonna do it on the car. There's the factory tweeter. We take our little pick tool, like so. It just pops right out. There's the factory tweeter. Here is the new Bavsound tweeter. See, it is a gorgeous work of art. You take the Bavsound tweet, get the parts off. It snaps right into the factory housing, just like the factory tweeter did. Just like so. Then we take our foam from the old tweeter, put it right back in place, just like it was. Then we just reinstall this. It's always a little bit of a challenge. And I'm just kidding when I say that. It's laughably simple. Let's put this guy in. I'm just trying to do this to show you guys. It's much easier if you're actually just doing it on your own and don't have... There we go. As you can see there, actually, beautiful. Snaps right back in. Done and done. So here's our wire from our tweeter. You can see it's gorgeous tweeter right there. Now, between the mid-range and the tweeter is our capacitor harness. So this is a little crossover network to protect the tweeter, to allow a nice transition between the frequencies the tweeter is playing and the frequencies the mid-range is playing. So it just plugs right in. You can't goof it up. Plug right in, plug right in. And you know, obviously there's a little bit of extra material here. So what I usually do is take a wire tie, which I don't have here. We should be shipping them. If not, you want to pick up some wire ties. Again, this is, depends on when you're watching this video. We may or may not have included them. And kind of tie these guys up and out of the way. We want to leave the capacitor harness down here on the foam so there's no weird resonance or anything like that coming from that harness. So again, we'll just tie everything up like so. And voila. So that's the process. So I'm going to snip those off with a little pair of wire cutters just to keep it clean. And then, of course, we just put things back on the way we took them off. So we'll go over that. But I'm going to pause it right here and join you guys back momentarily to get this panel back on the car. All right, guys. So we're back. Kind of tied everything up, taped it all up, made it pretty. I just had some gaffer's tape sitting around because it's Hollywood. And this is just me being overly sensitive to things, but it's totally fine. As long as the capacitor is just here on the foam, you'll never hear it. It'll never resonate, no shenanigans. So at this point, we're just plugging everything back in. So again, as we had discussed earlier with the door handle, close the handle. Take this guy like so. That's it. Then we've got our light connector. And we have our ambient lighting connector, and then we have our window switch connector. And actually I took out the window switch, so kind of cool. You can see what I did, how I did it. Put this guy right back where it came from. Like so. And then we just line up the door lock. Like so. I like to line up the top first, then I just push. lift. And it's that easy. So I mean, that's really it. As you can see, real time, no one bothering you. It's about 15 minutes. Start, yeah, let's call it 20. So it's very straightforward. And now we'll plug in. I took the window clip out. I did that by popping up from the inside. There's a little plastic clip here, metal clips here. You should be conscientious of this guy. He's very finicky. And I'll show you what I'm talking about. So the way the switch goes in, these fixed tabs on the back, so it goes in, and then we push down like that. So when we're taking it out, we come up and forward. And then we slide our T25 back in, reinstall these guys like so. I should have also mentioned, we always, before we put things back together, take a quick listen just to make sure we've got sound. You're not going to be auditioning and going from left to right, etc., because the amplifier is going to see a different load. It's not going to perform as intended. So all we're doing is listening to make sure that there's just clean sound. Even though these are 100% QC'd before they leave, things happen in transit. You know, they get shifted. Who knows? So we always just want to confirm just that it's clear, that everything's cool before we put it back together. 100% of the time that'll be the case, but there might be the one off chance here and there, so we just don't want you to be that guy. So done and done. Now we pop back on our panel. And if you remember earlier, I talked about this little hook. So we actually start on the bottom. That's how we start the alignment process. And then we get it. Let's see. Let's work the magic, shall we? All right. And then we can come up here and we want to see all these tabs. I don't know if you guys can actually come up here and see this. I can show you. There's little tabs in here. We want to look and see that the male on the outer clip is lined up with the female on the inner clip, and we are looking good for that here. So now we just go, and it's a perfect snap in. Super tight, perfect, tighter than BMW, in fact. So again, and that's it. I mean, as you can see, I don't know what the real time was on this video, but again, like I said, if no one's bothering me, it's 15 minutes, 20 minutes a door, done and done with the sound deadening and the new mid-range and the tweeter. So we're gonna pause it right here. We're gonna shift lighting around. We're gonna work, as I said, rearward to the rear doors. Then we'll go to the rear deck, and then we'll go finish up on the center channel. So let's pause it here, have a beer. I might. You guys could contemplate. It's probably a Saturday for you. And we'll rejoin you on the rear doors. All right, so rear doors. Again, I don't know if you guys, the lighting's a little bit better back here. Oh, it's just so gorgeous, this white stitching on the brown on the, this is the nutmeg interior, for those of you wondering. Those of you contemplating buying a BMW, I suggest getting them. Look at the seats, man. Anyway, it's fantastic. So, rear doors, just like the front doors, there's absolutely no difference in process, except of course the tweeters, which we will take up to our workspace and cover that process. But the mid-range process, identical to the front. So, you can watch me take it off. You can, I would just fast forward, quite frankly. I'm gonna do it because I'm a masochist, but just fast forward it to this part. And then if you don't have the Harman Kardon system, again, we're in a Harman Kardon vehicle right now with the OE system. If you have the HiFi system, you will not even have this tweeter. So it's not anything you even need to concern yourself with. So if you've got the HiFi system, just go ahead and skip to the center channel, quite frankly. But for you HK guys, hang out, watch me do this, watch me do the rear deck, and then we'll rejoin in the center. So same process. Again, find the happy slot. It's funny, look at this one, just comes right off. It's just hilarious the differences in from one panel to the next. This car is absolutely brand new, and one panel is a nightmare, and one just pops right off. I don't know if a machine built this or a German. And with this one, all the clips came off, and that's okay. We just line them up differently when we put them back. Yeah, all right, so that's off. And again, just like the front, I might share some interesting tidbits with you. for those of you that are sticking through this process. I'm thinking, I don't really know right now what that might be. I don't know. You guys digging your M3s and M4s? Absolutely fantastic cars. This has blown us away. We've had E36s, 46s, 92s, 90, and now this one. And we don't have an M4 yet. I like the convertible though. I don't have enough hair to buy a convertible though. It's regrettable because I like them, but it just seems like I'd be trying a bit too much. Okay, so these screws out. This door, actually, you know what? Maybe it is good that you stuck around. It's a little bit easier to start on the bottom with these cars because up top, this is really just, it's real thin cardboard. Again, for $80-something thousand car, you're right, just like, why didn't they use something a little bit fancier? But, so I like to start down here on the bottom. So this one's real tight, which is good. Well, this one's super tight. So you know what I'm gonna do? Every now and then you just gotta go old school, grab the pocket, and just pull. And just like the front door, just boop, right off. Unplug the lights. There's absolutely no difference between this and the front door, so you don't have to come back here and watch me do this again. You already know how to do the lock mechanism, unless you were not watching the front, in which case you're probably a dealer. I'm just kidding. You guys never watch the videos. All right, unplug this guy here. Couple extra little tabs. It's kind of mind-boggling that you can just sit out in your driveway and in a few hours dramatically improve the sound in your $80,000 car. Kind of satisfying, actually. All right, I'm gonna plug the tweeter. Like that. Let's see, where's this little guy? Where's he hanging out? Let's pop out. So just use your finger and you can pop this out. It's a little tab. You know what? That is tighter than I thought it was. Oh, just use your metal panel removal tool and just pop this guy out. Okay, that's not working either. I've done this only 5,000 times. And this, I think what it is when these are leather wrapped, these switches are so much tighter than if it's just wrapped in that generic material. Boy, howdy. That is absolutely positively not wanting to come out of there. Oh, there's the clip. Yeah, that clip is just super tight. See it? So just use your angle tool. I'll show you when I get it out of there. Yep, I can see the leather around the clip, which is preventing it from coming out, which is good. Pretty good thing. There we go, and I'll show you what I was just doing there. Makes a little sense, and you can see how unbelievably, yeah, see, the leather just made it super tight. So so all I was doing was decompressing this clip, and then I just lift it up. So let me just pull it out. That leather was, most of the cars won't have this. This was an extended leather option, so you won't have that kind of issue. So again, the mid-range is the same. We're absolutely not gonna cover that process. We're not gonna film it. It takes too much time. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna pause right here. I'm gonna do that. We're gonna go up to the workspace, put the new tweeter in, and then come back, put the door panel on, show you how to plug it in and stuff. So let's pause it right here. We'll join you guys on the bench momentarily. We are on the bench here. This is our F30, F80 rear door panel for the Harman Kardon equipped vehicles. It's a super straightforward process. We should have other videos on this. This is just show you the M3, F30. It's the same car outside of the gorgeous, of course, and I already forgot what that was called, nutmeg interior. But process is the same. Rear door tweeters, super straightforward. Take our angle pick, just pry out the factory tweeter. There's just a couple little tabs in here. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 tabs. So we just take this little guy, pry them right out, like so. So there's that metal tweeter that's been chopping your eardrums off since the day you got the car. And here is our, again, beautiful silk domed aluminum housing, 25 mil tweeters. Again, this snaps right in exactly as the factory driver did. We take, in some of the earlier kits we were shipping this adhesive. BMW, in certain tweeter applications, they use a little adhesive just to prevent any sort of resonance. We ship this glue. I don't usually use it, but this car is going to get used a lot. So I'm going to just apply a little bit of adhesive in this case, and like I said, we send it to you. We just don't want any off chance of any weird little resonance. And again, in most applications, BMW glues this tweeter in. And as you saw on that front door, you could actually move the factory tweeter around. So anyway, this is just us being hyper oversensitive. So again, with this rear tweeter, don't forget capacitor harness between the mid-range and the tweeter. But as you remember, it's pretty darn tight back here. So we want to get all this away.
Can you hold real quick?
Yeah.
I'm just gonna hear the phone.
Oh, okay. All right.
If you just want to jump back and
All right,
start
okay.
with
Cool.
capacitor harness.
All right, so guys, what we're doing here is we do not want to forget this capacitor harness. Again, it goes between the tweeter and the mid-range, which is in the door itself. So we also need to take special care not to involve this wire with this screw going through here. So just like the factory tweeter, we want to come here. And you can see we just want to follow the same path they took and get this wire in there and out of the way so that we don't have any issues whatsoever with that wire getting pinched. So that's out of the way. We take this guy here, we plug it in like so, and then this will sit down and plug into the tweeter, which we have in the door. So we're going to pause it right here and join you guys back over at the car to knock out the reinstallation of the rear door panel. We're back on the door. As you can see, I brought the wires out right here. We plug in our tweeter. Again, the mid-range, the harness is between the mid and the tweeter. We did not overlook that process. It's going to be snug. Perfect. Nice and snug there. And now, just like we did on the other door, remember, we've got one. This goes down to the light. So we're going to kind of get everything prepped, and then we're going to hit with a couple wire ties, just like we did on the other side. So close that door handle. Plug in that window switch. Where the hell do we bring that through? Where is that damn thing? It's right here. Put that guy goes right there. Make sure we can access our window switch. I don't want any funny business there. So that just leaves us plugging the light in, our ambient lighting, which again, we want to make sure that does not come into contact with the mid-range, which you might have noticed in this particular car, this wire was kinked up on the factory speaker surround. Check it out. It was like that from the factory. That's where the factory harness, when they were putting the door on, the harness didn't fold right and it ended up on the speaker. Fortunately, it didn't cause any damage to the actual speaker, but as you see, very close. So we just want to be aware of that when reinstalling to make sure that that stays well away. We have done that. So now, again, we line up that door. I'm going to take one more look. Yep, it tried to do it again. And then, just like we did on the other side, then we lift up a little bit, let the pins align. Boy, I've done some, there we go. Perfecto. And then, just like the front doors, we just reinstall the business end of things. Again, we tested, we made sure music was playing, right? Let me look, make sure all is well. nice and snug. Nice and snug. And last but not least, our friend, the window switch. Bam, done and done. So it's good that this one's a little different than the front door because the clip stayed on the cover as opposed to the card itself. So let's do the same process. Now we're just making sure these are lined up. Perfect. Same way as the front. So that wraps up front door, rear door. Rear deck, again, super straightforward. We're gonna show you how to do it. It didn't really take much explanation, but we'll show you nonetheless. Center channel, and then we are rocking and rolling. In this car, in the new Bavsound project car, we're gonna go and do the ghost woofers as well, which you absolutely wanna do. So let's pause it. Let's kind of change up some lighting. Maybe, I think I'm gonna have a beer at this point, and we're gonna move on. Showing you this 100 times, we're gonna show you 101 again in the beautiful Bavsound M3. Oh, I can't get enough of this car. You guys are gonna see me all over. Middle-aged man driving around, car seat in the back, maybe even a Labrador. Most likely you'll see it at one of our 100 and something dealers. Oh, check it out, bam. So again, between fingers and it just pops right out. All right, Torx T20. I had gambled on 8mm like every other F30 I've ever seen. So let's grab our T20. Again, on our Bavsound angle driver. Again, it's included in the toolkit. So we've got that. We're gonna grab our tweeter and we're gonna grab our mid. We're gonna rock and we're gonna roll. All right, so this is gonna get exciting. You guys need to prepare yourselves. I'm gonna unscrew a speaker. Flip it, rub it down. Oh no. That is a really old Belle Biv DeVoe reference for any of you that might have gotten it. And I apologize for those of you that have no idea what I'm talking about. What? Yeah, they did Poison as well. They had a whole slew of hits. Quite frankly, I have that album, I have that cassette, and I have that CD. And of course, I have it downloaded. And there's also a really dope remix. The Poison Pete Rock remix, for those of you. I listen to a lot of old R&B and stuff from the 90s lately. Have a listen. Go back to the glory days, gents, ladies. The days of backwards jeans, oversized rayon sport jackets with matching pants and Italian alligator shoes, man, high top fades. Man. You guys remember Color Me Bad? What a fantastic group. I'm not gonna sing, but I'm about a second away from humming the hit song from Color Me Bad, which you all know. Just go download it. It sounds fantastic on the Stage 1. Maybe that's what we ought to do in the future moving forward as we're working on cars. It's not that exciting, so we talk about music. That's what we're all here for anyway. I should mention we have partnered up with the Starkey Foundation, which is a global charity that brings the gift of hearing to those in need. So those of us that love the sound of our music, the sound of our cars, the reason, quite frankly, we are here, we take for granted sometimes that we can hear and hear very well. And so you can learn more about it on the website, on the Bavsound site. You can learn more about starkeyfoundation.org as well. It's a really big, it's very important to us, and we hope you'll join us and give what you can. So again, tweeters out, mids out, super straightforward. As you can see, it's this cavernous pit. We pull out the old, and with the new, there's nothing confusing about any of this. We drop ours in. Again, these are our big 25 mil silk tweeters as well. These are not in the aluminum housings. These are in a different composite housing, but it's the same dome. It's the same voice coil. We just needed it for fitment reasons. in the back of these cars. We use these in a couple of random applications. Again, so again, we're just screwing them down. This is the most boring thing I have ever done, and I'm sorry you're having to watch. I really hope you've gone and answered some emails, called your wife, called your kids, called your buddies, set up an adventure for the weekend. This is killing me. Blah, blah, blah. Let's see, what else is happening? What are you guys doing for the holidays? It's late 2015. We'll be shipping our Ghost subwoofers by the time you guys are seeing this. 3 years, patent review after patent review, and we are done with it. All right, beautiful. Tweeter is installed. Mid installed. Look at that. Plug it in. And the tweeter, you plug it in. And you magnetize the tweeter, you drop it in. It doesn't really get much easier than that. It doesn't, it just doesn't. You could have your kids do this for you while you do the door panels. They can do the center channel too. That is super straightforward in these cars. And again, we do use a ferrite motor structure up there. Again, there's just an audible difference with the ferrite versus the neodymium. It's just so much more powerful, just much more full sounding. Especially in these Harman Kardon cars, there's so much power. It just sounds like the Neo drivers are choking to me. And you've heard it, that's why you're doing this upgrade. They're just anemic. All right, so we're tightening again. Watching some damn paint dry. And this is mission critical. It didn't seem like, oh, the speakers are way back here in the back, but when you're firing metal tweeters off of glass, it's about the worst thing you can do acoustically in a car. No more. All right, so we're just snugging everything up. All right, so we're nice and snug. Let's do one more up here. And done. So you can imagine, we just dropped this guy right back in where it came from. Really could not be more straightforward. And guess what? It's the exact same process over here. And the center channel is none too different from that, just on the top of the dashboard. So we're gonna pause it here, shift some lights, and keep this party going. All right, guys, so we are here in the dash of our lovely F80 M3. It is identical to all of the other F chassis 3 and 4 series cars, at least in terms of this process. So again, plastic panel removal tool. It is identical to the rear deck. So this is a little tighter though. It's a little bit tighter. So get down in there. I get this guy, pry him up. Like so. See, I'm just kind of running it along that edge. And then this front edge, it's really tight. So I like to, again, I like to use my fingers up here. This actually has metal clips on it versus the back that's just plastic. Again, I can't even see what I'm doing. You guys will be able to get up in there and do this. I'm just trying to stay out of the shot. So there we go. So you can see with this, you can see the metal clips. So again, it just like the back. No funny business, super straightforward. So with that out, again, now here's the trick with these front speakers. If you drop a screw down in this dashboard, I gotta tell you, man, you're gonna be hating life. I probably shouldn't even be talking about it because it'll be the first time I do it in 20 years. Don't drop a screw down here. It is just something you don't want to do. This is for techs too. If you guys are watching this at a dealer, you should probably learn to speak all the languages of our dealers so that everyone hears me loud and clear. You do not want to drop a screw in this dash. Again, I'm going blind here looking, but again, all I'm doing is unscrewing some speakers. So not really a lot to watch here. Although there is a trick, again, with the center channel. Because again, we use the ferrite motor structures, not the neodymiums in these F30 cars. So we do use a very slick spacer ring to prop up the mid-range ever so slightly. And to do that, we'll go over that here in just a moment. Again, I am using my fingers for eyes. Again, you guys have seen me do this 100 times. And this is one of the most egregious offenders in the Harman Kardon system, which is blasting these metal tweeters right off of the dashboard, right in front of your face. I also haven't used the word egregious in a few days, and I wanted to incorporate it into today's video. It's a good word. I mean, you should all kind of find ways to fit that into your daily life. I like it. I've been using the word concur a lot lately as well. Most of you guys probably do that anyway. But for those of us that just get to hang out and listen to music and work with engineers and drive BMWs, we don't use a lot of fancy words. All right, so again, I'm taking extreme levels of caution so as not to drop anything down into this cavernous speakers. Not this. All right. So, with those guys out of the picture, let the speaker make any impact on the windshield, pull the mid out. Now the tweeter, we can just lift it right out, like so. And then we're gonna just do what we just did with our tweeter, same way. However, we are going to bring, I'll show you, boy howdy. This is, so with our mid, we need to pull off the rubber ring. This is purely aesthetic. Just been designing speakers like this forever, and in our later models we're no longer going to be using these because it's a colossal amount of waste, both in terms of resources and quite frankly it costs us a lot of money for something we don't really need. It's just kind of an historical. I'm going to try and get a little closer up here to show you guys. Again, you guys can get all crazy and work up in here. I'm just trying to stay out of the shot. So what we're going to do, we have our spacer ring. I do like so. See, it's perfectly milled out like so. And what we need to do is get our tweeter and mid connected and out of the way. So here's what we're going to do. Let me show you guys this. The first thing we're going to do is plug in our mid-range. Like so, right? And then we're going to take this factory BMW wiring and we're going to tuck it. There's a hole in the bottom of this, of the dash. We're going to tuck that down in there because we need the maximum amount of space that we can have in here. So, and then at this point, you can see what I'm doing. You can see I have now placed the mid-range down in there. And now we drop our screws down through the holes. Again, being very cautious here. We start, again, with our fingers before we get the tool back out. We just get this process started. can see. Just want to get this nice and snug. You can see. So then we grab our angle driver, which I have either A, dropped on the floor. There it is. All right. So then again, we slowly work our way around the mid, getting it snug, just like we've done with every other speaker. We don't tighten down one side. Just when the screw stops turning, we're basically done. We're taking special care not to hit that windshield. And we are done. Perfecto. And then we drop the tweeter into its new house, like so. Okay, we're not, there we go. I cannot see anything, so I'm gonna have to just guess at this point. You guys can work from outside the car, wherever you want. I just can't. All right, so again, I'm starting with my finger. Getting that tweeter snug. And then I am repeating on this side. Can you actually, only because I just cannot see. Yeah, I can't, I think that's it, I can't. That is it right there, yeah. Perfect. And then, again, with the tweeter, just like we did with the snug. This back one, this one takes the longest, just because you can't really get any leverage back there. Let's see if I can speed up the process with. This is risky. I'm not going to do that. You'll drop that damn bit, and you'll be calling me on Monday, cursing my name. So again, we're just. Snug and done. With the grill lined up, in this particular car I had to pop off this one little piece here. It's got enough clips in here. It's just so tight up in here. Make some compromises, you know, it's worth it, whatever. Bam, grill. Right back on from whence it came. We are rocking and rolling. So at this point we have wrapped up the stage 1 install. So we will pause here. We're gonna come back into the car, go over our recommended settings here in the HK system, and have a listen to what we have done. You know, we've been doing this for a long, long time, 11 years now, and it never ceases to amaze me. I developed all these systems. We've been selling them, over 50,000 of you. Thank you all. But you know, every time I get in a new car, even though this is our car, you know, Bavsound's car, you just really appreciate music that much more when you've got a killer system to listen to it on, and that's what this stage 1 and then of course the Ghost woofers are bringing to the table here. So what I wanted to do, there's some kind of baseline settings I wanted to go through here on the HK system with you guys. This is going to be different for the HiFi car, so this is HK only. It's going to be relevant in both here in the 3 Series. It's going to be relevant in the 5, 6, 7. Basically anyone with a Harman Kardon system, these settings kind of hold true. And everyone's different, so, but I'm giving you some baselines. So let's start. I don't want to get too wordy. I don't want to take up too much time. First and foremost is, at the very minimum, bass and treble flat. I have a pretty sensitive ear. So my treble, I have it down a couple of notches, maybe 1 or 2 notches. This is just a flat baseline setting in the treble. We're gonna go into the EQ and tweak it all out from there. So that's kind of how I start the tuning process. Then I come down, and most importantly, as I turn this ridiculous Logic 7 surround off, because I don't like going to a show where the band's playing behind me. Quite frankly, I feel like it pulls the image rearward, which I don't want. I want the energy coming from in front of me and beneath me. So if you're just driving along by yourself, I like the Logic 7 off. You will hear the difference, believe me, once you start twerking this a little bit. So heading into the EQ. Again, this is kind of personal preference. I've always thought that the 100 and 200 hertz, the 100 hertz is the underseat woofers exclusively. 200 hertz, we're segueing. There's a transition up into the 100 millimeter drivers in the doors. I don't know if you can see my settings. So this is me. This is how I have optimized all of our products to sound balanced and neutral. 5K, 10K, that's going to be those of you that are older, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s. Well, I know we have some old guys out there. You guys might be up like this because you can't hear any damn way, so who cares, right? But it does help. But for the rest of us, we want to be closer to this area because again, believe it or not, there are 7 tweeters in this cabin, and even though they're beautiful, they're smooth, they're silk. That's a lot of high frequencies scattering off a lot of glass. So I like my 5 and 10K flat. 2K, again, this can all be flat. I could set this whole thing at flat and be content. This is just me nitpicking it, listening to some Sean Mullins. We've been listening to some Lionel Richie, some Commodores, some Jamiroquai, for those of you, of course, Pink Floyd. This is just me tweaking it for a particular song. But I guess long story short, flat down the EQ band. That is where you're going to get the optimal sound quality from the car. It's just irrespective of your source. I'm using CDs right now. If you're using an iPhone or something like that, make sure your equalizer is turned off. If you're using an Android and you're funneling an audio output from the headphone jack into the headphone jack in the console, again, there's a volume adjustment in here where you can turn the speed volume and the aux volume. Let's see, where is it? It's over here. You go to your volume settings. So turn that speed volume all the way down. I don't know where the aux setting is. Anyway, basically we want everything neutral, everything flat, and then from there on individual songs we can kind of do what we want. So again, the key is flat. You will no longer need to do these artificial boosts, the stage 1 and the ghost woofers. Although the ghost woofers, we might actually have them down a couple notches at 100 hertz specifically. Flat, that is going to get us the sound that we want you to enjoy and the sound that you're going to enjoy. So that was kind of wordy. Thanks for listening, I suppose. If you're in San Diego, come see us, come hang out, let's have a beer. Again, everything we've installed today, everything we've gone over, bavsound.com. We do the social media thing. We've got some, we put pretty pictures up on the interwebs. But most importantly, you'll find us here obsessing over perfect sound in our BMW. So again, I can't thank everyone enough for stopping by, watching, listening. Enjoy the new Bavsound M3. Follow the build thread again, all of the BMW forums. It's in all these fancy schmancy features. The car is really special to us. We're really proud of it, and we look forward to meeting all of you out on the road here at the shop in San Diego. Be well. We'll talk soon.